I had this dishydrotic eczema in my hands, and that causes your hands to just blister and crack open. It was so bad that my whole palm, my whole hand blistered and peeled off to the point where when I went to go get fingerprinted for traveling overseas, I didn't have fingerprints. My fingerprints were like muted because my skin had peeled off so much.
If you've been watching, you know that I take my ingredients very seriously, but there are 3 companies that I have found that I absolutely love. Check the description for discount codes. Hello, welcome to my show. My name is Adrienne. This is a series where I interview different people who've inspired me to live a healthier life. And today I have with me my friend Robyn of CarnivorousGrama. Hi, Robyn. Thanks for coming on.
Hi, Adrian. Thank you so much for having me.
I know some of my viewers have seen Linus Lifestyle Live, and so they've seen your story, but some of them haven't. So could you tell us a little bit about why you became carnivore?
Absolutely. I'll start out with my name is Robyn Heron, and I am your carnivorous grandma. So basically, it started out for me, I guess, as a small child. I started with the idea that I was fat. Even as a little kid, people would compare me and my sister. And my sister was being 2 years younger than me, was always smaller than me, right? So it makes a lot of sense now that I think about it. She was always smaller than me, but people would they maybe thought we were twins or they thought we were close in age, and so they would compare us and they would say that I was big. They would poke my little tummy and say, "Well, she's chubby." And so I had this idea my entire life that I was overweight. I started dieting at age 11, and I kinda started out with I started eating some raw hamburger. My mom was like, "You can't do that. That's not good for you. It's gonna make you sick." So then I started eating only carrots. So I would go on these extreme kind of a diets even at age 11, trying to be smaller. Although when I look back at my pictures, I don't really think that I was that big, but I would call it like an diagnosed like body dysmorphia type of a thing. I always thought I was bigger than I was. So I started on the roller coaster of diet. And I did a whole bunch of diets. And and then I actually started to gain weight after I had kids. And I was 113 pounds and I thought I was fat because I had hips, I had thighs, my thighs rubbed together, so I thought it was fat at 113 pounds. After I had kids, I started gaining weight. I was doing all these diets. I did the Atkins diet. I did the Weight Watchers. I did the what is it called? The medical weight loss clinic where you go and you get the B12 shots and you eat their food, you buy their food and that's what you eat. Horrible packaged processed food. And so um, I just forced my weight down. I had like I cannot go beyond 200 pounds. So I would get up to 199 and I would force my weight back down through another diet. So I would do the cabbage soup diet. I did the calorie counting, all the different things. The only reason I didn't do a diet was because I didn't know about it. And ultimately, I found keto. I had done Atkins way back in the 2020. I did Atkins. I mean, in the year 2000, I did Atkins. And Atkins induction phase was like, oh, the heavens opened up. And it was like, this is the way that a person should be eating. I felt so good on it, but you weren't supposed to stay on it for longer than 2 weeks. And then you had to climb the carb ladder. Well, climbing the carb ladder was my demise. I could not sustain myself. So I did keto. I did keto for 5 years straight. And one summer, I decided that I was going to treat myself to some sweet corn. And because I deserve it, I deserve to have that sweet corn. And so I fell off the wagon and I could not get back on keto to save my life. In the meantime, I had been watching Dr. Berry, so I had heard about the carnivore diet. I think originally I heard about it from Kelly Hogan. I've been trying to think back to who the first person was that I heard it from, but I thought that sounds crazy. Like, who does that? Eats only meat? That's just going way too far. Like, who's gonna do that? But I watched Dr. Berry, and he actually did it. Um, and he went from keto to carnivore and did amazing, and I was just, like, fascinated with the idea of trying it. And so he had talked about, trying it as an elimination diet, do 90 days, try it out, see how it works. So finally, last year in February 22nd, I decided to try it, and, the rest is history. I've been on it since then.
That's amazing. I'm January 16th, 2023, so we're
Oh my
like
gosh, neck and neck.
carnivore sisters.
Yes, yes, we are.
So you also said that you had come on here for some medical reasons. What was
Yes.
that?
So I had a few things. Probably, I will say the main thing is eczema. There's a few main things, but the one that was most visibly outward was the eczema. So I had eczema on my face, and it always looked like I had a black eye, two black eyes, because I had these dark rings around my eyes and I had a ring around my mouth. I would have different splotches, eczema in different places. It would show up on my ears, it would show up in my head, all over my body. But the face was the most noticeable. And then I had this dyshydrotic eczema in my hands, and that causes your hands to just blister and crack open. And so my hands would just be raw, like so it was so bad that my whole palm, my whole hand blistered and peeled off to the point where when I went to go get fingerprinted for traveling overseas, I didn't have fingerprints. My fingerprints were like muted because my skin had peeled off so much.
Do we wanna show people some of the befores?
Yes, we
Okay, I'm gonna
can.
pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up
Okay.
here.
Yep.
Okay, there you go. I don't know if you wanna blow any of the pictures up, but, like, some of those hand pictures are remarkable, and we would love to
Yeah.
see what your hands look like today.
Okay. So I'm gonna just click on like a couple of these, some of the ones that were really bad. So you can see here that my eczema, this is like the start of it. And actually, I think this had was infected. My fingers were all swollen. You could see the blisters underneath the skin. And so that was just kind of the start of this round of eczema. And then I'm gonna scroll through so you
Ooh.
can kinda see both hands were like this. Here at the bottom of my hand, you can see that, it was like hamburger meat. It was like ground meat. My hand was very soft, and underneath was like it just boiled up through the skin. It was just really, really, really awful. And so I have a couple other ones that I wanna show. So let me just click through. You might be able to, like, edit some of this out as I'm clicking through. I'm trying to click. What in the world? My mouse is acting crazy. Okay. So let me click through.
Wow.
So, yeah, you can see that this is like a few days later where the skin so what eczema does, this dyshydrotic eczema, it blisters and cracks. The skin peels off, it dries, and then the cycle starts over again. So it will blister and it cracks open and then it flakes off and then it dries and then, and it doesn't like all happen at once. So different sections of the hand would be in a different phase. So the skin just, I mean, it just peels off. My whole palm literally peeled off. So you can see kind of this is the start of it.
So
Yeah.
I've heard that our skin is a reflection of our gut lining. Have you had any gut issues?
Yes. So I've always had IBS. Mine was with constipation. So I hear a lot of people talking about, having diarrhea. I had constipation my whole, as long as I could remember. And when I went carnivore, I was carnivore from the day one that I started on carnivore, I had diarrhea for 30 days straight.
Yeah.
The saving grace was I had decided to do 90 days of carnivore, and so I wasn't gonna give up just because I had diarrhea for 30 days. On the 31st day, I had my first normal bowel movement of my adult life, and it was, like, life-changing. It's like, "What? Okay, so this is how things are supposed to be." So, yeah, I definitely did, have, gut issues. I had gut health issues for sure.
Should I remove this?
Yes, you could.
Okay. So I don't know about you, but I had been constipated for so long that when the diarrhea came, I was like, "Oh, what a relief." I was kinda relieved, if I'm gonna be honest. I know that's horrible, but it was the first time things are moving, but then, like what you said, once it normalized, it was, like, the best bowel movement of my life, like, "This is how it's
Yes,
supposed to be? I thought I was
right.
supposed to eat fiber to do this. I ate so much fiber, I never had one of these." Huh.
Exactly, exactly. The fiber did not do it. And, it's so shocking because people are like, if you eat only meat, you will not be able to use the bathroom. People are worried about that. Like the meat is just gonna sit in your colon and it's not gonna come out and you'll be constipated. And it's exactly the exact opposite.
Yes. So, when you were keto, did you see any relief?
No,
No.
nope. The only time that I ever saw kind of some relief from this, I was doing some acupuncture for a while. And then also I went on an anti-candida diet, which was like a zero sugar diet. And obviously, to me, it's very clear to me now that this eczema feeds on sugar because there are certain things if I try to add it back in, then it will flare. So things like heavy cream, which is it has that high sugar content, right? That the dairy. So for me, I can't really have it because it causes my hand eczema to flare up. So, and that is, so it's definitely food related, 100% food related.
Did you ever go to the doctor about it? Did they do anything?
Yes. So this probably really started in my early 20s. The dyshydrotic eczema. I've had eczema all of my life. I was the little baby with the little hand mittens on and the socks on because I was scratching myself because I had eczema so bad all over my body. And I was the kid that had the dark ring around the neck and the patches behind the knees and in the elbows, in the creases of the elbows because I had such bad eczema. In my early 20s, the dyshydrotic eczema started, which meant that my fingers started to blister. And I'm like, what in the world is going on here? I went to the dermatologist. They gave me cortisone shots right into the blisters. And it did help, So I've been to, many dermatologists. I went to my GP and I was on lots of ointments and creams and things like that. I was on a face cream, a face lotion for 30 years or more. 30 years I was on this product called what is it called? Destinide lotion on my face. And then when I went carnivore, I realized I no longer had to use that cream. And I use it every day of my life for over 30 years. And so that was kind of amazing. And so I used very strong steroid ointments on my hands. And I mean, I would use the strongest stuff on my hands because it was so bad and it wouldn't work. And I would have to go in and take a course of steroids. The problem with steroids is it masks the symptoms. So it stops the symptoms for a moment, but then as soon as would ramp down on the steroids, this would come raging back. So it was not worth it to me to do steroids. So I'm very thankful to have found out because the dermatologist said this is not food related. There's nothing you can eat that would cause this. There's nothing you could eat that would make it better or make it worse. This is not food related.
That is so right.
So I knew within myself that it was food related, but I did not know what foods was causing it because I had so many signals coming in from all the different foods that I was eating. And even when I was on keto and I was eating, strawberries and blueberries because you can have fruit, I was eating a little bit of melon here and there. I would go and have 5 fries because 5 fries is only 5 carbs and I could have 20 in a day. So I can't have potato at all. Potato is like one of the most horrible things that I could eat for my eczema. So, but yeah, I went to the doctor. They gave me all the creams and the ointments, and I used them for many, many years and realize now that every now and then I'll have to use something, but compared to what it was before, it's like night and day. There's just no comparison, literally, between the 2.
Well, your skin is absolutely glowing. Can we see your hands? Wow. They say some of those creams, because my son had eczema, they say that they thin your skin and blah, blah, blah. But your skin looks radiant. Do you
Thank
use beef
you.
tallow now?
I do not use anything really on my face. Somebody just asked me this question, like, "What do you use for a moisturizer?" I don't. I rarely ever put anything on my face besides water. Sometimes I'll use, a very gentle cleanser if I feel like I need to wash my face with some kind of a soap. I'll use a really gentle cleanser, but other than that, I don't put anything on my face but water.
You said that there was a couple other things. What else was bothering you before? And did you know that they were bothering you and you didn't realize they were until you went carnivore, or how did that work?
So severe anxiety, I mean, to the point where about a year before I started carnivore, I was having such severe anxiety. I think it happened when really with COVID. They sent us home from work. I was driving like 90 miles to work every day. I noticed toward the end of that time, I was getting to the point where I was having anxiety on the road driving. And I would have to go off on the side streets and take the back roads home. But I was still doing it. I was still driving. But then I was in the house for 2 years after COVID because I worked from home. I was able to continue to work because my job was easily transitioned to a work from home job. But then once we started to get back out, I realized I am not able to function out in the world anymore. I'm too scared, I'm too anxious. So I went to the doctor and I asked her to put me on something for the anxiety because I'm like, I'm not going to be able to function in my normal life. And she put me on Zoloft. And so I realized about probably 90 days in, I started having the thought that I probably don't need this Zoloft anymore because I need to be able to see if carnivore is addressing the anxiety. And I do still have some anxiety to be perfectly transparent. I definitely have not. I mean, I've heard so many people say my anxiety is 100% gone. Mine's not. But it's so much better than it was. Like, I can get in my car and drive where to the point where I was like, I am not going to be able to drive. I would go over overpass instead of trying to like drive straight over the overpass. I would want to stop. My foot would come off the gas and I would be literally stopping my car before going over an overpass because I was had so much anxiety and, those kinds of things. So and getting on the highway was just, like, not doable. Not doable at all. So lately, I'm not really driving on the highway, but I've tested it out a couple of times on getting on the highway and just seeing like, am I still terrified? And it's not as bad as it was, but it's still not all the way gone. So I just feel like mentally, maybe I need some additional healing. I still need healing in that area. And I'm not sure, I still keep some spices and stuff in my diet. It could be possible that for mental illness, I hear this from Dr. Georgia Ede that that very last little bit that you release could make all the difference for your mental illness. So, because I've kept a couple of things in like that, like my seasonings and stuff, it could be possible that that is a problem. And I will mention this because it just recently happened. I went on a cruise and on the cruise, I had mint. So I was having these like sparkling water with fresh mint and lemon juice drinks.
Mm.
And when I got off of that cruise, I had so much anxiety. We went to the mall and we went upstairs and I could not move forward. I was like, we have to go downstairs because I'm not able to function up here. Just severe, severe anxiety. So I know that the plants are really a contributing factor to anxiety for me.
You can take this with a grain of salt, but I have had this exact thing, and it was to the point. It was, I would call it terror. And to around here, we're on a there's like a lake, and then you have to drive over bridges to get to each sister city. And like the city I live in doesn't really have anything. And then the other city has all the stores and Costco and all that. So you have to drive over the bridge, and schools are on both sides. And so you have to go over this bridge. And I had all this terror. And my family was like, "You need help." And you know what it was for me? Mold
Mm.
inside my house.
Oh,
So if you have any water leaks, I would look around for that and repair that, and it might change your life. And I know
okay.
take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Everybody who has mold illness and heals from it thinks that everybody else has mold illness. But that same thing, it can be from inflammation, which could be from mold, it could be from plants, it could be from a virus, it could be from so many things. It could be
Right.
from that stupid scent that they blow in the air in the bathrooms. It could be from a lot of things, but
Yeah.
I
And,
I
you think
believe
about it, I was on a cruise just for the weekend, but being on a boat where there's, like, water all around, it could possibly be, like, that the mold was high on the boat.
yeah,
So
yeah.
interesting. Very interesting. I'll have to keep
Yeah,
that in
so that
mind.
just food for thought. And if
Yeah.
anybody else would like more information, you can go to the sursgroup.com, you can go to survivingmold.com, you can go to Judy Cho. She's got everything SIRS, which is chronic inflammatory response syndrome. And you'll find a lot of information about people who are sensitive to mold and toxins. But okay,
Okay.
let's keep going with you. That's my little SIRS piece. Okay, so you're feeling better.
Yeah.
And do you have any other conditions that have gotten
Yeah, so I
better?
wrote a couple of them down. So, um, I had this issue, and I think it's tied to, like, my mental illness. I'm just calling it that. But I was completely and totally obsessed with food. Like, my thoughts around food were absolutely obsessive. I was constantly thinking about food, constantly talking about food, thinking about what am I gonna eat? Do I need to go to the store? And what do I need to buy? And what's in the cabinets? What's in the fridge? Constantly thinking about food and having conversations about food. I would talk about what I ate today, what I ate yesterday, what am I planning to eat tomorrow? Me and my mom had this thing where we would just talk about food all the time. And all of a sudden I realized, like, okay, wait a minute. I don't want to talk about food. I don't wanna think about food. I'm not thinking about food all the time. So my mom is like, we're talking about what she ate, and I'm like, "Hmm, okay, so I don't have that anymore." I literally don't have that anymore. There was an issue where if my phone rang, I would always think the worst every single time. I would tell people, "Don't call me because I'm gonna be freaking out, like, what happened? And just text me." And then that way I can see, that you're trying to get a hold of me. And then I'll get back to you. But I would always think the worst every single time. I'm like, somebody was in an accident or somebody has died. Something terrible has happened every time my phone rang. And then I realized I was on a live stream and my phone rang and I sent it to voicemail. And I was like, wait a minute, this is crazy. Like I did it without even thinking about it, without even having a thought that something terrible had happened. And so that was a huge thing for me because I've always been kind of afraid of everything, like, and so that was just part of that. The one big thing that happened was last spring when I went on carnivore, I did not have seasonal allergies. Now, I have been allergic to something every season of the year for my entire life, and taking allergy pills once or twice a day, every day, plus Benadryl. So constantly, and I'm having a little bit of like coughing and stuff this week. So there's stuff going on. But in comparison,
Mhm.
like, there's just no comparison to the way things were. I'm sitting here looking at people with their eyes running and their nose running and they're itching their eyes and they're, scratching their ears and they're just dealing with, I mean, right now I think it's hay fever season. And I'm like, carnivores don't have allergies. So it's
Mine are
really, really cool.
significantly better. Like,
It's
I had a
really
few
cool.
days that were like, "Ah, dang." And the
Yeah.
rest of the year has been great. And
Yeah.
same here. I took Zyrtec every day for 20 years.
Yep.
No more.
I realized I had that big Costco jug of Zyrtex, and, I just was realizing, like, "Okay, I am not having to take medicine." for my allergies. So mind-boggling. I was that was completely unexpected.
Yeah, I've been taking Zyrtec long enough that I had to have a prescription,
Yep, me too.
and you had to pay, and then
Yeah.
you'd only get 30 at a time, like they were the most precious things in the world, and it was kind
Yep.
of hard to source it, and now you can
Yep.
just get a big old bottle.
Yep.
Oh, that's
Exactly.
amazing, all the healing. So, have you been able to stick with it then, and because of the healing that you've had?
Yes. After 30 days on carnivore, I knew I could never go back. I knew I could never go back. I felt so good. I experienced the carnivore zen
Mhm.
after 30 days on carnivore. And not that I've felt carnivore zen every single day of being carnivore. I've been on carnivore for over 18 months now. But I knew I could never go back to like, I can't even go back to keto
Mhm.
because I already know what happens when I do keto. I've tried to do it many, many times. I did it for 5 years straight. As soon as I started cheating, I lost my way and I couldn't get back on it. So I'm pretty strict about eating meat only. Like I said, I do keep in some seasonings and spices and stuff. Eating meat and meat products, so eggs, cheese. I do eat cheese, but I had to cut the heavy cream out because it caused my hands to flare. Um, I just know I can't go back because I've already been there. I've been down that road too many times, and I already know what happens. Plus, my big why is these hands. I couldn't
Yes.
function. I could not function. I could not use my hands. So you're touching things all of the time. And if your hands are just cracked open and weeping, you can't function in life. So I was just talking about big whys today. Like, that's why enough for me to give up my mother in law's pound cake. And that's
Mhm.
a big deal.
Yeah, mine's the blood sugar. I had chronic hypoglycemia and I can't go back. And it didn't even matter if things were sugar free, they still messed with my blood sugar. So meat it is, and I love it. Now,
Me
what I
too.
love is on your channel, which I'm going to show here, you are quite the cook.
Oh, yes. I love to cook.
And so I'm on your playlists right now, and there's eating out, there's going on vacation, there's you different progresses, comfort food, holiday cooking, all kinds of stuff. So this is Robin's channel. Go out, like, subscribe, share because it's amazing. Then on the live tab, we've got every Monday you are on
Eating Mondays with the fierce felines.
the Fierce Felines. And
Yes.
then do you do the masterminds sometimes too?
Yes. Yes.
Looks like you go
Whenever
live quite a bit. I love Coach Rose.
Oh my
Wow,
gosh, it
healing
was such a good
humanity. You've got a lot of good stuff on here.
thank you.
Everybody's got to go out and like, subscribe, and share. Okay, here's what I love though. So I was digging into you today just to catch up because we've met, and I'm going to share that in a second. But you have been sharing a video every single day for months.
I've been
And
trying.
and my understanding is that to kind of keep you going, to keep going towards your goals, you challenge yourself every single month. And you've been telling the audience, how are you doing with that every single day? Is that correct?
Yep,
So I saw in August, you were doing 2 lean days and a fast day a week. Did you make it?
I did. Well, I made it towards the end.
But
I
then you had
kinda
the
gave up
cruise.
the last couple of days. I mean, I would took the cruise. I set it up so that my August challenge would be regular eating days on the cruise because I already knew, like, I'm gonna wanna eat the
Mhm.
food. I'm gonna wanna eat every day. I'm probably gonna eat 2 meals a day, which is my standard, is to eat 2 meals a day. I did get a little bit burned out on the lean days, and then I thought it's a little bit counter to what I understand about carnivore, in that it's more of a high fat protocol. So lean didn't really make a lot of sense. So I switched it up for September. And in September, I'm doing the stick of butter a day challenge
Yeah, the
because I
high
want to
fat.
see
I
like,
love it. You've got the heart attack recipes. That's what
yeah,
you're calling them?
yes, yes, yes.
Even
I
though
get
they
that
won't cause
from,
a heart attack, guys, they'll
no,
actually help
right.
your heart.
That's right. Yep. So I get that nomenclature from Rick at Charger Mopar. the 40-year carnivore, 40-year carnivore. He's been doing carnivore since he was 15 years old. And he calls it heart attack cooking, heart attack style. When you fry your meat in lard, beef tallow, whatever, ghee, whatever you wanna fry it in, that meat-based fat, and so, yeah, it's called heart attack style because it's really good for your heart. It's heart healthy.
Okay, so how is high fat going? I'm told with my autoimmune and my hormone issues, I recently went on bioidentical hormones and I recently went on thyroid medicine, and I keep getting these responses that if I just went high fat, it would fix everything. Well, I definitely have been eating high fat for a year and a half, and it got worse.
Oh my
So I
goodness.
think there's a time and a place for bodies to have a little assistance as we continue to make these changes. And I'm
Mhm.
never going to give up on healing. But have you
Right.
noticed any changes on the high fat?
I have. I would say that the biggest change that I have seen so far, and I've only been doing it for a little over a week, right, is in my sleep. So,
Mm.
with my sleep, the way my sleep has been for a long time is I get very little deep sleep, between 5 and maybe 12 or 15 minutes a night. Not nearly enough. So I'm always, always, always tired. And then my sleep pattern is that I wake all the way up and I'm up for like an hour or more during those sleep cycles of the night. Since I've been eating the stick of butter a day, I've been getting almost an hour of deep sleep a night. Yes,
That's
it's
awesome.
absolutely incredible. Like I didn't think it would actually do it. I didn't think that it would do it. People were saying, "Eat more butter, eat some butter before you go to bed." And I'm like, I tried it a couple of times. It didn't really work. But now that I've done that for a whole week and I'm looking at my sleep pattern, I'm seeing that I'm getting like, instead of having an hour or over an hour where I'm awake through the night, I'm having like 15 minutes. Like last minute, I had 18 minutes awake. And then I had almost an hour of deep sleep. So, can you imagine how much more refreshed I feel when waking up? Like, I'm not exhausted during the day when I can get more deep sleep. So, I'm hoping that as I continue with the high fat, I will get better and better sleep. So that's the main thing that I've noticed. I want to talk about butter boobs because it's a real thing.
Butter boobs?
Butter boobs, yes.
Okay,
So
tell me. This is
I
guys, tune in. Turn
I
up the
heard this
volume.
I heard this term from Steak and Butter gal Bella, and it is the fact that when you know how when you lose weight for women, a lot of times the boobs are the first to go. So, with eating all this butter, the boobs must like butter because they definitely are, yeah, they're boobing. The boobs are boobing.
That's amazing.
They're
Yeah, she
yeah,
says with the high fat dairy that it makes you more voluptuous
it makes
in
you
the
more
right ways.
yes, yes,
In the
yes.
right ways, not the wrong ways.
Exactly. So, that's, really nice because I've been on so many diets, always, that part has been the first to go. My neck would be going, it's like, who needs a skinny neck? Come on, off these thighs,
Yeah.
But,
I'd like a little rear to go away. I know it's all
right,
the rage to have a rear, but not like this.
right. Just not so much. So, I haven't really lost weight on it yet, but we'll see, I feel like and I've been saying this since I started carnivore, like I wanna lose weight. I feel like I have weight to lose, but if my body is not releasing the weight, then maybe this is where I need to be. Maybe I need more healing, or I'm not
Mhm.
sure what could be going on inside my body that's causing my body to hang on to the weight. But, I'm like I said, I'm trying all these different experiments and I'm trying to see I did not feel satisfied and happy with my carnivore lifestyle when I was doing those lean days. I just didn't. Now, on butter, a stick of butter a day, I can easily do an OMAD, no problem, because I'm fully satiated. I'm full. The butter keeps me feeling full. I can wake up in the morning, I still feel full because of the butter that I ate last night. And so then it means that I can go longer without eating. So I'm okay with intermittent fasting and doing those OMADs naturally. But forcing those lean days made me feel very unhappy and obsessed in ways that I did not want to go back to. So that's why I ended up like, I'm gonna just leave that alone and see if I can try something different.
And we have nothing but time this summer. So last spring, I did lion and I lioned hard and it was going so good until I face planted. I mean, I was continuing lion, but my hormones and my thyroid took a tank. But it was really 6 months of 21-day cycles and perimenopause. And I'm currently living in black mold. You can't see it, you can't smell it, but we
Mhm.
tested the house and it's here. And so so then it was like, okay, I got to take a break back from the weight loss and heal and talk to
Yeah.
my doctor because I'm working with like a functional doctor.
Oh, good.
And
Good for you.
we got nothing but time. I don't intend to change the way I'm eating. Have you ever seen some of the Kelly Hogan videos? She had a
Mhm.
2 year stall where she
Yep.
went from 160 to 145 or something like that, 165 to 145. And then it was several more years before she got to where she is now. So
Yeah.
it seems like there's lumps throughout the healing and our bodies trusting us. So I'm with you.
Absolutely.
We'll
Yep.
just keep on keeping on. I do wanna share that Robin and I have met.
Yes.
I don't know if this is gonna
Oh,
it covered us up.
I love it.
Here's a picture of us. We met at Hack Your Health this year, and we've also done a few lives together, and
Yeah.
I just love Robin.
Oh,
So I'm
thank
so
you.
excited that you came on today. So some of the people who are watching already know you, so I thought we'd go into a couple fun questions, okay?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. First of all, where are you from? You're from Michigan?
Yes, I'm from Michigan, Kalamazoo.
Kalamazoo, and how many kids do you have?
I have 4.
And in grandkids?
I have 11.
11?
Yes,
First of all, that's my
11
favorite number.
grandkids.
What a blessed woman you are.
Thank you. Yeah, I am. I really, really am.
That's amazing. Okay, what is your favorite TV show? Do you watch TV?
Ooh, I don't watch too much TV. I guess if I have to say what show I watch the most of, it's probably the news.
Yeah?
Like the local news to see
I
what's
was
going
gonna
on.
say you can add YouTube to show. Like, is there a
Okay,
favorite
okay.
YouTube you have?
Well, my favorite show is Meaty Mondays with the Fierce Felines, of course.
Obviously, yes. Okay, what do you have any secret hobbies that we don't know about? We know you like to cook. What
Yeah.
else?
Oh my goodness. So, I'll probably just talk about ministry. I am in my denomination. I'm what they call a missionary, and so it's similar to like a minister. So I love to preach and teach. That's probably my main hobby. Is I do a lot of things with my church. My husband is an assistant pastor, and his father is the pastor of our church, and so I do a lot of things with ministry, all kinds of things. Right now, I do a lot of coordinating. So for my day job, I am an IT program manager. And so I do a lot of project management type of things, putting together different programs and services. And we're doing a huge event. I do put together a women's conference every year with a team, of course. But that's probably my main hobby is church work.
Awesome. I love that. That's amazing. Okay, what is something not very many people know about you?
Something not many people know about me. So, I was a high school dropout.
What?
Yes,
And now you're an IT manager, project manager.
that's
So
right.
how did that all play out? Tell us because this is America. And my dad, he had me when he was 21, not really educated, working at a rental store. Now he owns the rental store. It sounds like you have
Right.
a story like that. Tell us.
I do, yeah. So, I never thought that I was smart, and I think about this with the kids, like, what would happen to their brains if we were able to change their diet? I
Mhm.
did not feel smart, and so I dropped out of high school in my senior year, after my senior year, pretty much. And I was so close to graduating, but the way I needed to go back to school the next year was I had to go the whole year in order to
Mm.
graduate, so I dropped out.
Yeah.
I ended up getting married, having all my kids, and one day I decided to go back to school. I think I was watching Oprah. For some reason, I was watching Oprah. Oprah was talking about something. I decided I should go back to school and get my diploma. Now, I knew that I could get a GED. That would have been easy. Just go take an exam, you would get a GED. But I was like, I want to get my high school diploma. So I went back to school. I went to adult education. I had my last little baby. She was an infant in a car seat, and I took her with me, and we went to school, and we got our high school diploma. From
Awesome.
there, I decided I'm gonna go to college. I wanna do something with computers. I wanna just do something with computers. I knew that back in high school, I used to love the programming class that we had, and I thought I was interested in computers, so I said, "I'm gonna go into IT." Went back, got my associate's degree, and then after that, I said, "I'm going on." I ended up getting an internship at a pharmaceutical company, and I worked at that pharmaceutical company, and I got my bachelor's degree, while I was working there. And then continuing on, I went on to get my master's degree. And so I went back to school when I was 28. I went back to
Wow.
school at age 28. I got my high school diploma, associate's, bachelor's, master's, and now I'm an IT program manager.
I love this story. I think we need to share that because we have people who are younger getting pregnant and they're like, "Oh, so it's going to throw my life away." And
Mhm.
it's not. It's just going to change it.
That's
It's just going to change it, especially yeah. So that's amazing. Okay. What is your favorite holiday?
Ooh, my favorite holiday is Resurrection Sunday. I am so thankful for the Lord for what he did. So
Yeah.
Resurrection Sunday seems to be my favorite one. I mean, I love Christmas. Christmas is a lot of fun, all the gift giving and all that kind of thing. But Resurrection Sunday means very, very much to me because I feel like, God changed my life. When he put it in my heart to go back to school, he put it in my heart to go back to church eventually, and it's made a world of difference in my life. So I don't know where I would be if the Lord had not done that for me.
I'd be losing my mind. I mean, I'm serious. I used to heavily drink alcohol and I went to AA and they taught me not just sit in church, but are you giving it to God? Like, are you
Mhm.
really giving it to God? Or are you holding on to it and trying to control everything? And just really building that relationship has changed everything. The world is nuts. Our
Yes,
kids are being poisoned with food, and the world is crazy. But
it is.
I believe God's got it, and we were born for this time. So it's going to be okay.
Amen.
Yes, I love it. Okay. Tell me, okay, final questions. Tell me a little bit about what you eat and what your favorite food is. Do you have like a staple?
Mhm. So, favorite foods is hard, but I typically eat, like, bacon and eggs. I love cheese eggs. So, there's when I was growing up, we used to eat grits and cheese and eggs and bacon. And for some reason, this white American cheese scrambled in butter eggs gives me that same kind of taste that the grits with cheese and the eggs had. And so I really, really like that. So I love cheese eggs. I love bacon. I eat a lot of burger patties and hamburger. I like the power bowls, with the bacon and burger and eggs all mixed together. I really do like ribeye, but I have to say my favorite is I love chuck roast and I love oxtail. Oxtail is the bomb. It's so good. And so that's one of the things that I really, really enjoy. It's very expensive right now, though.
Mm.
So it's kind of hard to, justify paying the price for it. When I first started on carnivore, you could get oxtail for like $3 a pound. Now it's as expensive as ribeye. So it's really,
Oh,
really expensive. It's
because
like
people figured it out.
people figured it out. Yep. I used to go to my local farm and I would say, I'm taking all the oxtail that you have. And they would give it all to me. And I would just get like 15 pounds of it at once. But now you can't get it at all. Everybody figured out how good it is.
Wow. How about picanha?
Oh, I love picanha. Yes. Yes. I'm not a picanha queen like Christy.
Yeah.
Picanha princess. Okay, I'm gonna call her picanha princess. I think that's what we're calling her. But I do love picanha. in my area, you can't really get picanha. It's very difficult to get it and it's super expensive. So I ended up ordering it from Wild Fork Foods so that I could try it. And it's so, 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 so good. Oh my gosh, that fat cap on top. It's really, really good. Yes. I do enjoy it. But I like I think I like steak bites. So I can take a chuck roast and cut that up and fry it,
Mhm.
fry it, and it comes out super tender, which is so shocking because, you think of chuck roast as a braising type of meat. You've gotta cook it a long time, but you can make steak bites out of it, and it's good.
Have you tried the tasty air fryer?
I haven't.
Oh, it's so good. It
I
really
know.
is.
I'm like, "Tasty, where is my air fryer, people?"
It really is amazing. It's got this window, it's got a probe, it cooks the meat just perfectly. It has so many
Mhm.
settings. It doesn't
Yeah.
just blow a bunch of hot air at your meat. It like slows the fan and slows the heat and
Oh, I'm
every
gonna have to
I just
order one.
my husband just got back from Alaska and he brought home a bunch of salmon and you're kind of scared like I don't
Mm.
want to ruin the fancy salmon, but I put a piece in there and it came out perfect.
Oh
So,
my
yeah,
gosh,
you got
that's
to get yourself
amazing.
a tasty air
Yeah,
fryer
I'm
before
gonna
you
have to order
continue.
it. I'm like, "Okay, Tasty, you guys are not giving me my air fryer. I guess I'm gonna have to buy it."
Yeah, it's pretty good. I saw your guys's you had an episode with a bunch of people about air fryers. Do you
Yes,
have one?
I do, yes. I have one. It's like a Power XL Pro. My mom gave it to me. I had the one that I used to have was like a basket type. Can't think of the name of it, but it it broke, and then I ended up throwing it away, and my mom gave me her old one, which is a Power XL Pro, and it does a lot of things. I mean, it does dehydrating, it's got the little trays in it, you can do that kind of stuff, and it's a really good air fryer, but I really wanna try the Tasty because of that probe, the temperature probe. I think that's gonna be super cool.
Yeah, well, if anybody wants to try it, there'll be a discount code in the description.
Okay.
For
Okay.
$30 off, but
Oh,
we
good.
had one,
Maybe
it was
I'll
the
order it that way.
Cuisinart, and it was stainless steel, and I thought, "This is perfect," but it turned out the insides were some of the insides were aluminum, I
Oh.
think. I don't know that it was fully stainless steel, and then the biggest problem was the smoke. Have you had smoky
Oh.
air fryers? And
Yes,
so I
that
pulled
last
this
one I
whole thing
had.
apart trying to spray it and clean it and scrub it so it'll stop smoking, and you
Yeah.
can't get to the internal pieces, but the Tasty, the fan is the heat is right there, you can just clean it right there,
Oh,
but
that's
I've been
nice.
cooking bacon probably twice a day for 3 months, and it hasn't started smoking.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, but that was what
It's
would happen
amazing.
with the last one that I had was I tried to take it apart and clean it, and you could not clean it. You just couldn't. So I ended up tossing it because it was so, so, so smoky. And I was like, I just can't, I cannot deal with this anymore. The one that I
Yeah.
have now does not do that.
Okay, so I have some friends who recently just started carnivore, and this is how I wanna end, and they're in the throes of the runs, and they're having the meat aversion, and they're having the family members question, "Are you gonna die of a heart attack?" Do you
Right.
have any words of inspiration for those people?
So, as I said, I had diarrhea for 30 days straight, every single day from the day I started until day 31. The heavens opened up. I had my first normal bowel movement. I say stay the course. Do 90 days. If you haven't already gotten to your 90-day mark, just stay the course till you get to 90 days. It's going to take 90 days for that gut microbiome to transition. It's going to take 90 days for you to realize the benefits of the carnivore diet. I think people give up too soon, because I think people feel worried. If you think about what we've been taught as far as food and nutrition, this is the opposite of what we've been taught. It's very counterintuitive to what we've been taught. So it's a good excuse to give up, but don't give up. Stay the course. You're gonna find out that there's so much incredible healing going on inside of your body that, what is your why? You know what I mean? Keep that why in front of your eyes, like, so that it will keep you strong because it does
Mhm.
take a little bit of strength to stay the course. But I say stay the course, and you're gonna realize incredible benefits from being on the carnivore way of eating.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. You're such an inspiration. You're a story of healing. You're a story of hope. So I really appreciate you coming on today. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, and share. Bye.
Bye.